Yeah,
Okay, hello everyone. Welcome. My name is Patsy Ferguson. I'm the editor-in-chief of Fourth Wave, and we are the sponsor of this event. Um, we're an international feminist publication on Medium, and that's a platform where writers get paid. So I hope you will look for us there because we love to get paid. We all publish there. And our topic today is how to take care of yourself. We have an invited guest who isn't here yet. I'm hoping she'll show up, Dr. Smida. We'll see if she comes a little later. But let's start off by introducing ourselves and tell where we're calling from. As I said, I'm Patsy Ferguson, and I'm calling from San Francisco. And let's do, Sangeeta instituted something last time where we went alphabetically, and that way we don't have uh, those moments, awkward moments where we're waiting to see who's going to speak first. So let's see, alphabetically we would go Linda, Mooney, Nima, Patsy, I've already gone, and then Uwanah. Okay, so over to you, Linda.
yeah. Hi, my name is Linda. I am a entertainment and music consultant and publicist primarily. That's the primarily my day job. And I also am a freelance writer and contributor to different feminist newspapers and platforms, and also culture and music based entertainment kind of newspaper supplements across various different platforms in the UK and Ireland. And I'm also a campaigner and an advocate for gender and racial equality across the entertainment and media industries. And I'm currently based in Spain, from Ireland originally.
And are you also a musician?
Yeah, yeah. I actually worked as a luthier. I can play about 12 instruments. So
Oh,
over this side of the
wow.
room, this is where all the instruments are. But yeah, I used to play in many different bands
Oh, wow.
in the heyday.
Welcome. Thank you for coming. Muniba's next.
Hello, my name is Muniba and I am from Pakistan. I am principal editor of Fourth Wave and uh, I'm just very happy. Every time I wait for this.
We're so
Thank
glad you're
you.
here.
I'm Nima Joseph. I'm calling in from Boston. I'm a student and also a contributor to the Fourth Wave. I'm actually really excited for today's topic on like self-care. Because and like the article, as somebody with, I don't know, that struggles with depression, it was like really nice to read. So
Welcome. We're glad you're here, Nima. We can't hear you, Uwana. I don't know why.
Yes, we can hear you.
Me?
Oh, now, yes, it's coming now.
Okay. My name is Esther Uwanah. I'm an editor for First Wave and I'm calling in from Nigeria.
So glad you're here. So glad you can make it. I read your recent story on mentioning the electric outages,
Oh,
among other things, and so I'm very glad you're able to be here despite network problems in your area. So last week we had a very emotional live stream about the death of a woman in Spain who requested and received permission to get euthanasia after she had been gang raped, and it was quite emotional, and two of our participants wrote about it, and we discussed it, and it's a very upsetting story. So this week I wanted to try to do something a little easier, which is to talk about how we take care of ourselves. But I guess I'd still want to start with asking what challenges you face in your country or your area or your culture, that are gender specific. What what are the things that make life difficult for you as a woman in your area? So it could be your place of origin or your current place of residence, because I know Linda, for one, has moved. A lot of us are still where we started, but and we're going to start with you, Linda.
Yeah, I mean, in Spain, I hardly speak a word of Spanish. I'm awful. I don't really, I'm only starting to have a network here in Spain, because I'm always in Ireland and the UK with work. So I'm looking forward to spending more time physically in Spain this year. Um, and I don't really like, I got one of the Spanish newspapers last week, actually. I saved it here. And it's the whole thing, you see little uh, hints at feminism and the topic of feminism. And I picked it up in a market there the other day when I was walking past, and I was just really surprised, I suppose, to see some male journalists discuss and dissect feminism and how rape culture is in Spain at the moment, because we're seeing a massive surge in Barcelona, in Madrid, in Malaga on either date rape or women being drugged in bars. And that seems to be really prolific. And I've started to kind of meet different feminist organizations here as well. And yeah, there's like I was out for dinner a few times over the last few weeks, and there wasn't a single one of us at the table who wasn't either gang raped or raped. And it said a lot. So is there a difference than me being in London or Ireland in terms of my safety as a woman? No, but by, just the first even few instances being out with other women that are connected, like embedded into the community, it seems to be a big issue. And like one of the women said, "Oh, I'm so glad my daughters are not going clubbing anymore, not going, to certain types of venues because they have been known now and they're known to be places where men hunt women, like, and they drug their drinks, they roofie them, they inject using injections in the leg when it's really busy and women don't kind of, what's going on, because how are you supposed to identify a little tiny pinprick when you're in a room dancing? So yeah, it seems to be unfortunately the same as many places that I've lived, and so that was interesting to and deeply upsetting to kind of see, like, okay, so it's much dissimilar across the board, you know, unfortunately.
So safety would be the primary thing.
Yeah, safety, yeah, and just being kind of cautious going out, and like, always put something over your drink if you're out, and never leave on your own if there's a few people out, like always stick together. And it's just the exact same, and you know across the board, yeah.
Mhm, mhm. Thank you.
Thank you. Uh, for me, this stream is very important because there is so much going on in this world. Like whenever I try to sit and I said, now I'm going to write something light. I try to something like anything, and then something comes up and it is about rape and rape academy, like, and I am like, what are we doing? What are everyone doing? Like, I am afraid for me, for my safety, like Linda said, for my daughters who is only 6 month old, but I am afraid. I'm afraid for her. I want to protect her, but I don't know how. I like, this is very hard. And about what like I am going through this phase, like I think postpartum depression or something, anything. I wanted to talk about this, and also about Rape Academy, and also about everything. I don't know. There is so many challenges for us, and it is not only about challenges that is regional, I think all of us can relate. All of us. If she, I think that before this, all of the stream and everything, I always thought that United States are most secure and something like this, but it is not. Spain is secure, but it is not. Like, I am afraid. Like, what are we going to do? So yes, I think I don't know what to say.
Mhm. It's a scary world.
Yeah, it is scary.
And I understand your feeling too for your daughter. When you have a daughter, I feel the same with my grandchildren. You witness their innocence and their carefreeness and, confidence that comes naturally to them. And you dread the day that that's going to be stamped out.
In Pakistan recently, one more incident. I don't want, like, I just stop myself for writing it because I don't want to write it anymore. I don't know what to do. There was another woman killed because she said she was married, like it was only love marriage. She was killed because of this by our brothers and father in front of everyone. Video was viral. She was begging everyone. She was begging that please don't kill me. I didn't do anything wrong. This is not sin. And she was killed in front of everyone, and video went viral. And I was like, and I just stopped myself for writing it, that I don't want to. I don't know how many stories there are. I don't know. Like, what can we do? She was only 16 or 17-year young person, like young girl, and she was begging, and everyone can hear it. And
And
I
she
don't
got
know.
killed for being married, for getting married.
Yes, love marriage, and they said that honor and whatever. I don't know when the man understand that honor is not between the leg of women. Please, it is not. Just, I don't
That's
know
a
what.
very good way to put it. That
I
is
mean, it
so
really
true.
is like, Jesus. My God, the poor girl.
Yeah.
How about you, Nima?
Um, I was gonna like I agree. Like as women, I feel like we all can relate to a certain extent about like being sexually assaulted and like there is a moment, like Patsy was saying, where like your innocence kind of gets taken away. And it's like heartbreaking. Like I can remember when it happened to me, like in middle school, and then you're just kind of like, oh, some people are forever just gonna like look at me for my body. Like they're not gonna think anything else about me. And that's sad. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I would say, I think it's the same thing for all of us here, safety. Because I come from a country where it's like we have the purity culture here is very intense because we have two major religions and we're very religious in this country. So it's Christianity and Islam. So we have purity culture. And also there's also an over sexualization of women at the same time. One of the states in the country made a law recently that women are allowed to go out braless. So if you go out without bra and they see that you're not wearing a bra, you'd be arrested for not wearing a bra. That's how terrible it is over here. And it's like I cannot go out without expecting to be touched in some way. Maybe even not like sexually, but like just men trying to like just feel you kind of. And I can remember there was a time I went out with a friend and this guy was literally grabbing my hand. And I had to like shout for him to leave me alone so I can walk away. And the men around were like, man cannot touch you. And that's always the response we get. Like, they're not going to defend you. They're going to ask you what's so special about you that you feel you cannot be touched. You're a woman, you should be touched by a man. So yeah, the main concern I have is as a woman living in this country is safety. I do not feel safe going out.
Wow. Wow. I mean, that's so much all of you have shared. And I was when I came up with a question, I was thinking of smaller, kind of domestically, and I was feeling because I don't go out that much, as an older woman, and so I feel pretty safe in my home. But what happens is just there's a hierarchy just that happens where I'm a second I'm a subservient class, and I just get tired of that. I At first, when I was a young woman, I thought, oh yes, women are magical and we can make everything better for everyone. We can be earth mothers, we can take care of you and take care of you and take care of you, and our love will heal everything, which is what all the Disney princess movies are about. If you just love this uh, monster enough, he'll become a prince or whatever, this frog or this beast. Um, and that's kind of fun for 5 years maybe, but after that, it's like, okay, I'm tired of taking care of everybody else, and um, I don't want that to be my responsibility. I mean, I want to be a good person and everything. But I don't, I notice I put it on myself but everyone expects it too. So if there is someone who's unhappy in the room, I feel like I need to solve that problem, and it just gets so it just wears me out, and it makes me want to be alone. It makes me just want to spend time all by myself. So I don't feel like, well, what can I do for you? What can I do for you? What can I do for you? Why are you mad? Let me fix that. Why are you unhappy? Let me fix that. Are you hungry? Let me feed you. Whatever. So that's a smaller thing. But on the bigger scale, of course, I feel I was reminded when Nima spoke about that transition in my own childhood. I was a very confident and happy and outgoing little girl. And then when I hit puberty, suddenly my identity was reassigned, and I became this sexual object, and I couldn't walk down the street without people looking at me and trying to just categorize me that way. I was quite a shock and quite upsetting, really, because I that wasn't what I was feeling. I wasn't feeling sexual and let's go, baby. I was still running around trying to just have fun and be a little girl. And so that's that's a problem. That's a difficulty of living as a woman. And I don't think men have any real understanding of that because it doesn't happen to them. So they don't sympathize and they don't seem to see it. Um, Maybe some do, but on the whole. But what I wanted to lead into from there was the topic. How do you deal with these hardships? How do you take care of yourself? How do you how do you go on in the midst of this? What makes it better for you? And I'll come in after Nima. I'll go alphabetical. I won't go first. So Linda, over
Yeah.
to you.
Um, yeah, I did as well when Nima said that. Like I was 6 when I was first sexually abused. I was inserted into this paedophile ring in a farm in Ireland. And it changes everything, like, and I don't have any photographs of me as like a young child, and I don't I'm not in contact with my biological families the last few years. We just had very, very different energies, and it was just the healthier option and the healthier boundary for me not to have them in my life. And so I don't really have any access to, old images, but I came across one in an old folder I had on my laptop, and it was a picture of me when I was 5, and I hadn't seen that picture in a long time. So when you said that, I that really, really resonated because I was, instantly transported to a time when I was so carefree. It was so my parents always kind of rowed, and there was that kind of domestic, kind of not as much physical violence with my parents, but it was more shouting at each other and all that jazz. And so like that wasn't very pleasant. But other than that, I was quite carefree in my kind of, my energy and how I held myself. And I can see the distinct and clear difference between then and a few years later, where I just wasn't even present most of the time. And talking about how do we heal, how do we look after ourselves, like that, reclaiming your own agency is a huge thing that I have done a few workshops with now, and I with an organization that I work with called Why Not Her. And I've had a brilliant guest. She's a somatic therapist, and she's just a wonderful woman, a natural healer as well. But she was kind of talking about the necessity of having, your access to being able to re-regulate your body, because we're so deregulated right now with everything that's going on in the news and what we touched on earlier on. Like, it's absolutely everywhere. All you have to do is just like wake up in the morning, and you can't even look at your phone, and it's everywhere. Like, it's absolutely everywhere. The violence, the gendered violence. And I don't think it has been different throughout all the ages, but what is different is our accessibility to it. So more people know what's going on. So more people can have discussions like this, where we're all in different parts of the world, and we can all say, yeah, it's going on here, like as it always has. And the same on a different continent, So there is a deeply rooted issue at play here. And it's just it's so across the board in terms of the question. I've been trying to, you see a little like all I have a little like kind of altar where I have loads of different types of religious statues from across different religions. I love theology. I never kind of connected with one specific one, but I just like the presence of different theological artifacts and stuff like that, and symbols. And I've been meditating on that this week of like, what can we do? What can we do as women? And the mention of the Rape Academy there earlier on, it poses even a bigger question as, what do we do to show men that what they're doing is wrong? Because they don't seem to get it. Even women that shared that, there was a slight misinformation in the headlines where a lot of people ran with 62 million men visited a site, when it was actually 62 million visits to multiple sites across multiple platforms that was discovered, including a rape academy. So this misinformation has allowed men and the manosphere to then go back to women and go, oh, you're exaggerating the figures and it's not that bad. And, it was only 12,000 men in this part, and it was 40,000 here, and it was 100 and something thousand in this place, and they just don't get it. Like, they just don't get the fact that it was 62 million views, to a lot of these very, very disturbing channels. But it's, as a society, I think we have to come together. The only thing that I keep coming up with is it can't be a gender war. It can't be like women have a lot of rage, and we're right, and we have absolute right and access to be able to, acknowledge that, because, well, how could we not? But I think that we do, and we ended last week's kind of talk on what could we all do, and it was, do we work together? And obviously, we're all in unison in that we have to work together. But how, when men just don't seem to want to? It's just, yeah, I don't know. I went off on a tangent there because I had so many things in response to everything that was said up until this point. So you probably have to repeat the question, Betsy.
That's okay. That's okay. And I just noticed too, I should have been looking earlier that we did have a comment in the live chat, and I want to invite people to make comments
Mm,
and we'll read them out. And this one from Julie Varley, 3969, she says, safety is an issue for me as a mother. How do I keep my child safe without frightening her? And
Mhm.
I just want to say this idea of getting men on board, we need to get them on
yeah,
board. And it may be that protecting children is how we can do that, because I know every live action movie I've ever seen has that theme of a man rescuing his daughter or his wife or his girlfriend. So supposedly men have this identity of protector, and they need to pull it up, and they need to understand that we're under threat and that we're constantly under threat. And we didn't understand either. Nobody knew the breadth of child molestation and rape and just sexual assault until pretty recently. I mean, it seems to me, I guess I knew, I had a friend, but both she and I thought this is unusual. This isn't happening to everyone because it was a secret. Everybody kept the secrets, and we're not keeping those secrets anymore. And that's wonderful. And that's a start. But it reminds me too of the rapists in the Giselle Pellico case in France, 60 men or more. And many of them came to court and said, no, I didn't rape her, even though they had video evidence of them having intercourse with an unconscious woman. They didn't understand that was rape, because her husband told them to. They thought, oh, well, it's not rape because he gave me permission or he asked me to or invited me to. And so, there's some serious education that needs. And I'm curious also about this rape academy. I haven't read about it, but both Linda and Mooney have mentioned it.
it's
Um,
extremely disturbing. Like it's one of the worst things you will ever read as a woman,
oh
ever,
God.
ever. I've read most of it, but I had to kind of step back, rest for 2 days, and then kind of get back into it. I still haven't read the full extent of it. I've read a lot of the coverage, and I've read like I'd say 75%, but I had to step away, like, and just
Can
exhale
you
because
can you summarize it for us?
yeah, so basically, CNN did a wonderful job of investigating a number, not just one particular site. So it's a number of different sites, primarily linked from the platform Motherless, which is a porn online sex kind of site. And there's lots of different columns and subcategories and different platforms that can be linked from this. And what men have been doing is they have been connecting via all of these numerous different platforms, not one particular one, all over the world. And there also have been some females logging on as well in the data. And this is a thing that men are saying, oh, well, women logged on too. But you know yourself, the predominance is men. And so basically, what they were doing is they are teaching each other how to drug their wives, what different portions, taking photographs of when they drug their wives. There's actually an entire multiple sites that have how to check the eyes, and I mean it is graphic because they share a lot of the photos. And you see live, like literally conversations between men saying, "Oh, that was great last night. Um, how many people did you get viewing your live show of him raping his wife while after he drugged her?" And this is thousands of men. So yeah, it's quite disturbing. And then they also talk to some of the victims, and that's where I didn't. I just had to like remove myself and just kind of exhale, absorb and cry, and then go to the gym and get some rage out. But it is bad. It's bad across the board. You see all of these sites, and in February 2026, it had over 60 million, just shy of over 60 million visits to this platform, and then led onto other platforms that's included in that. And then in March, it was over 80 million, which nobody's running with yet because people are still trying to wrap their heads around the 60 million. So it is absolutely just devastating. And there's a lot of people, men from the US, that are logging in. Um, and actually, I think most of the highest bracket is from the USA. So it's just disturbing and it's telling because when you look at who is the leader in the president in America, it's basically what a lot of what I'm seeing on the manosphere is, especially after watching Louis Theroux's manosphere as well, is monkey see, monkey do. These men are just copying each other. They're literally training each other. They're launching training camps on how to govern women, how to be not to, take the soft approach and to reclaim their masculinity. And it's terrifying, like it's absolutely terrifying, but it is disturbing reading. And it's just online, the amount of misinformation is just incredible. But again, the manosphere are using the misleading headlines that people have been using to minimize the impact and the scale, the sheer scale of this brilliant investigative piece. And it's just shocking that not every news outlet is running it. Like the Times ran a piece, the Sunday Times today, and I can't think of the journalist's name, but it's a male journalist, and he basically said, "Oh, women are starting to be really aggressive towards men, like just completely diminishing." And then he said, "Oh, and it's going to mean that they're gonna they're gonna vote for the Green Party more." It's just these stupid topics, and you think, okay. Sunday Times in the UK, you think they would have ran with the actual data from the report as opposed to some guy diminishing women and saying, oh, women have an ick with men at the moment. Why do we address the context? But as usual, they leave out the headlines. But that's in a nutshell, that's what's been going on. And you see loads of different viral trends, but every major account are posting that they're being shadow banned. Like we've been shadow banned on why not sure. We usually had about 2 3 million any even kind of month in terms of views on our network, and it's gone down to some weeks we'd have seven, and then other weeks we'd have 300,000, and other weeks we'd have 30. It literally is just up and down, just total shadow banning, and loads of other networks, feminist networks, campaigners, gender equality, racial equality campaigners, and activists pro Palestine, Sudan, Congo based platforms. They're all being shadow banned, every one of them.
I'm
Just
sorry,
crazy.
I'm ignorant about how that happens. Are the platform owners doing that, or
Yeah,
so?
yeah, yeah. It would be the platforms. Like so, basically, they have. I mean, it can be alleged or speculated, but you don't go from suddenly being a very well-known platform that it has full integrity and of sharing news items and that going from millions of views or hundreds of thousands of views to literally nothing when the manosphere is rising and rising and when the content you're covering is in relation to the manosphere. So one can allude to the possibility that yes, it would be the platforms that are honing in on that type of details. And they have. I mean, I've known people that have worked for TikTok and Meta and Twitter and that when it was Twitter, and they have entire teams that look at words, at spellings, at power words, keywords, like really, really, there's a lot of things that goes on that people don't know, and they can pinpoint and they can shadow ban very easily, very, very easily. Yeah, it happens across X. I mean, once Elon Musk took over, our accounts went from this to just nothing.
Mhm,
So, yeah.
mhm. Well, our person on the live chat has another question. Have there been requests to take the site down? Um,
So far, there's been no arrests. So far, there has been none of the men's names are legally allowed to be shared. to the extent where there's actually a trend now happening over on Threads, which is a sub app within the app Meta, the Instagram, where it's kind of similar to what Twitter used to be. And women are actually starting to share, hi, my name is Helen, and I was raped at age 17 by my brother and then John Doe. So what women are doing now is they're going, well, fuck this, like name him, name. Sorry, I cursed there, I don't know.
That's
But
okay.
it's just, they're just saying, name them, and shame them. So there's a huge viral moment after happening in the last, 24, 36 hours, where women on Threads, because they know they'll get shadow banned on X, where they've started to just literally say, hi, this is my name. And some of them are posting photographs of them, and they're just doing it because they know they're not going to get justice at any stage. So they might as well name and shame. So people are calling for the men to be named and shamed. And then there's a lot of videos now going around as well of some of the women. The wives are coming forward and they're saying, yeah, I found out after 4 years that my husband has been drugging and raping me, and it's horrific. All over the world, like it's crazy. Yeah, it's a trend
Ah,
amongst men. Not all men, some men.
well, I like that name and shame idea since we've spent a long time protecting the perpetrators,
Yeah.
being told you don't want to embarrass the family, you don't want to embarrass your uncle, your cousin, whoever it is,
Mhm.
and you have to keep this secret, you know. So I'm glad, and I was interested too. The victims from the Epstein file, when Melania came out and said, "I want the victims to talk before Congress," they said, "We've talked enough. You have the names. Where's the action? Where's the prosecution? Why isn't anything happening to these men?" And not in the U.S. I mean, it's happening in some places, but anyway, we kind of lost track of the question, but that's fine too. I mean, I was asking how do you cope with the feelings of frustration and upset that you get living in this world. Let me go to you, Muniba. You can respond how you like, but that was originally the question, but I got off asking other questions.
Yeah, okay, about Rape Academy, Linda said everything, and all of these points are in my article, which you are going to review.
I am going to review it. Yes, yes, and schedule it.
Okay, so let's come to main topic. It was about self-care. So I want to talk about my mental health because of all of this going on and because of my postpartum and everything. So something that really helped me was my mother. I want to say this, and I think women can understand this. So women helping other women is very important. Women not helping the other women, I think it is more disturbing than men not helping her. I think that because women understand us more better when they try not to help us. It's like more disturbing, I think so. So for me, I think now my husband is helping me very much. He take care of my daughter and everything, but I don't know, I'm suffering from some kind of depression or anything. I can't breastfeed her. I try to, but I cry whenever I breastfeed her. She want my breast the milk and I can't. And this made me very like emotional or something. And what I am doing, I'm going for me times nowadays. So I go to recently, like yesterday I went to parlor and I done my nails. I cut my hair. I took care. I did some facial and something. So me time is very important. Go and do some me time. So this is why I think this is my advice to every woman. Go for some me time.
I like that.
Mm,
Mhm.
I agree. I feel like once you have like a little ritual to yourself, it's like you can face like not everything, but at least like you can have something to look forward to. Like at the
Mhm.
end of the day, I can like look forward to doing my skincare and listening to my music and just like breathing. Or like if I'm having a hard week, I'm like, oh, I'm excited to at least get my nails done. Like at some point, like this month, I know I'll do it. So it's like something to look forward to that's just for you.
Mhm.
Yeah. I I'm not someone who likes doing my nails like that, but I love new clothes and not just buying new clothes. I like to make my own clothes. I even went to fashion school so I can like improve my skills. So that's always something I look forward to. Like I have too many fabrics, too many fabrics. So if I feel stressed, I know I can always like draft a new pattern and sew a new outfit, and I would feel so much better. And I also love reading, but it's not been something I've been doing a lot recently. I used to read a lot of books, but like this is I don't have time to read anymore. But yeah, sewing, I love to sew, and that's my own form of self-care. I sew a lot and I love it.
Wonderful. I like that. And Dr. Smida, who was going to be here, she had posted a story about how to deal with depression, and I thought it was helpful. And it said, first off, acknowledge that you have it, and second off, ask for help. And I think a lot of us have trouble doing that, asking for help. Telling someone who will help you that you need the help. And then she said, make a plan and then follow through on the plan, even if you don't want to. So it might be get your nails done, might be so, have your hour, your 2 hours, your 3 hours, whatever you can manage to do what you like to do, and then follow through on that, even if it's hard and you don't want to because you're depressed. Um, but for me, I really like being in nature. I live in the city, and so getting out under some trees, by a river, by a creek, and especially if I could do that alone, I find that very refreshing and restoring. But I can't always manage it, so I might have to make a different, more achievable plan. Um, but yeah, just taking a breath. I'm trying to learn not to react. I read a book that was very helpful to me called the Let Them Theory, and it was a woman who that it's easy to remember because it's just those two words, let them, and it's just those people can do what they want to do, and I'm going to do what I think is right, and I'm going to focus on living my life according to my values and my priorities. And I'm not going to convince you that I'm right, and I'm not going to fix you, and I'm not going to take care of you, and I'm not going to get upset when you insult me. I'm going to just do me. So that's quite helpful too to me, to make that separation and to let other people be and don't feel like I need to intervene in there. So that would be my self care. Um, uh, I wanted to say also, in terms of protecting, the questioner had asked, how do you protect your child without frightening her? And I wonder if any of you have thoughts about that for um, our person who asked that question in the live chat. Um, I felt I was very lucky. I went to a church, the Unitarian Universalist Church, that had a whole curriculum for helping children understand their sexuality, and it really prepared them um, to be confident and not to be caught off guard by anyone messing with them. So I was able to send my children to that, and that helped me a lot, and feeling that they were protected, and I think they were protected by that.
That is wonderful. So what would you like, what did that entail? Like what was the core kind of component to that?
Well, the way it's basically kind of, well, they have different levels for different ages, but it's kind of this shame and name thing, because what convinced me was I went to a meeting for parents, and one parent got up and said, my daughter went through this, and afterwards she was at a slumber party where the brothers of the birthday girl were touching her when she was asleep, and she jumped up and started screaming and pointing at him
Oh,
and
brilliant. Yeah.
woke the whole house.
Wow.
And he said that's directly because she took this class and had thought about what to do and understood it wasn't her fault, and she was prepared in some way. So, they just have these discussions, and it's a long, many week course. So it goes slow, and it's age appropriate and everything. But to me, because when I was assaulted as a child, I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell the woman who said, a girl sent me over to her house where her brother was hiding. I didn't tell her. I didn't tell anyone because I was ashamed. So not only, I think it helps you prevent, but also process if anything bad happens.
So
So you,
empowerment through communication and the
recognizing,
transparency of communication.
yeah, yeah.
And for for young for young children, like recently we went to one party, e- on Eid party. It was Eid party. So my husband cousin, he is very good boy. He is very like decent good boy, and he said you want my daughter, and you want to show her garden or something. And my husband said, no, you can go with her. I'm going with you when I finish my lunch. And he said, it's okay, she is crying, I can go with. He said, no, you can't. I don't want my daughter with anyone alone. And he was like, what are you saying? Are you saying that I am bad person? And he said, no, only my daughter can't speak. She can't speak. She is only 6 months old. When she is mature enough and she can speak and say words, then I will let her go with anyone. But now I can't without me. So setting boundaries, parents setting boundaries for everyone, not because they are bad person or anything, but anything can happen.
It's better to be safe than
And
sorry.
yes, and big like that, I don't want to say the stats without like maybe I'm wrong or something, but very large amount of stats says that they are always not always strangers. They're always someone you know. So like protecting, it's okay if she is little afraid. This is very bad word. It's okay if she is little afraid. Just protect her.
Mhm.
Personally, I would say, it's also important to let your kids know they can come to you for anything. Because, like, I had that kind of relationship with my dad. My dad was like very protective growing up, is very protective. And I can remember a specific incident. One of his friends visited the house, and it was just me and my dad in the house. And this friend knew it was just me in the house because after the friend came to visit, he and my dad went out together. My dad was going out, so they left the house together. And after my dad went, he came back. And my dad, it does is whenever he's not home, I'm not allowed to open the door, except it's somebody I like, it's my friend or something. But if it's his friend or even a family member, maybe an uncle, I am not going to open the door. So we had that rule growing up for me. So this friend came and was trying to convince me to open the door. He wanted to show me something. And I was like, no, like my dad is not at home. I cannot open the door for you. And when my dad came back, I told him. And so I did not even think he was listening to me like that because he was eating. And I just sat beside him. I was saying that, oh, when you left, this your friend came back to the house. My dad finished eating, and it's a neighbor, he was a neighbor. My dad finished eating, and he took a cutlass to the man's house and caused
Oh,
quite a scene. And like in like a month, they moved away from the area. It was terrible. My dad caused quite a scene. So like, just let them know that you would always believe them, so they can always come to you whenever they're uncomfortable with anybody's behavior, and you would always believe them, and not just believe them, also take action. So
Your dad is a
wow.
legend. Yeah.
Your dad really is a protector.
yeah.
By cutlass, do you mean like a curved knife or
Yes, long cutlass, that like a
Mhm.
machete.
Like
Good.
a
As you would expect
machete?
every father to react. That's brilliant.
Mhm. I like that story. Good for him. Wow, that's great. Have you thought about it, Nima, at all? How to protect young girls?
I was thinking like we a few streams ago we were talking about this kind of um just telling them that it's their bodies. Like if someone is touching them and they don't feel comfortable, they can like speak and say, "Hey, I don't like this." And it doesn't have to be something like overtly inappropriate. If it's just like, "Oh, give me a hug." Like in Haitian culture, it's very like kiss someone on the cheek when you meet them. And like when I was a child, that was just like expected of me. And I like didn't like that. And there were certain people who's I didn't want to kiss their cheek. And my mom was like, "Oh, it's fine.
Mm.
Like, it's okay. If you only want to go out and like do that with like other family members or like just the women in our family, that's okay." And that was just like eye-opening to me because I was like, "Oh, I thought I had to do that just because everyone did."
Excellent. Yes,
Yeah.
I like that.
I mean, I think across the board, it's all about communication, really, isn't it? It's about being able to have that portal to be able to come to your parent and say, I don't feel safe, or even just, well, something felt a little bit weird here, or something happened out of the ordinary, or something in Esther's case could have happened, and I think I'm delighted that a wonderful husband and a wonderful father is
Oh,
has
my
come into
my dad
play in
is
this. Like
something else.
it's really it's good to hear that there's some good men out there that are willing to protect
And
women.
I love that. I really think that's kind of the key to our to changing our cultures, all of our
Mm.
cultures, is reminding men that's their role to protect the vulnerable, not just their daughters, but all the vulnerable, and our role too. I mean, if anyone's a child or someone, we all should be protectors, and I think that could help with this horrible these trends of how to exploit and hurt and oppress people, and somehow that's cool or that's something you want to aspire to. That's horrifying, and I hope we can turn that around. And I don't know. I did have one more question, but you know what? I have my granddaughter's birthday party is starting in 1 minute, and I'm going to be a little late. So we're going to have to end right on the hour. I'm so glad everyone came, and I hope to see you all next week. And is it your turn next week, Muniba? Are you going to be hosting?
I think Uwanah.
Uwanah, have you got anything in mind for next week yet?
No.
Okay,
I'm
all
sorry.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, compared to what happened last week and this week, there's going to be so much to go through.
Yes, we could just continue the same topic. But
Okay, take care, everybody.
thank you. Great to see
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.